Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Let's Get It On. Now, I've got two very special guests in the studio. These are going to be an absolute delight to talk to. You may know them as Beau Bowen, but they are actually Monty and C. Jane from Beau Bowen. Hello, guys. Welcome.
Hey, Suzanne. Lovely to see you.
Now, I only realised this morning you're only down the road from me because I live in Suffolk too.
Oh, wow. We're neighbours.
You are, indeed. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Now, we're here to talk about all the things that you guys are doing and kind of your inspirations behind your music. So for our listeners, just tell us who Beau Bowen is.
Well, we're a duo. We're a married couple, actually. We got married last year. We spend all our life working on music. We absolutely love it. Monty is a superb singer and musician.
Oh, how lovely.
I sing and I play the electric guitar, and we produce all our own records. We absolutely love doing it and love creating very unusual, unique, exciting sounds.
Well, yes, I mean, one could call it unusual. I like to think that we just do it, and whatever comes out, comes out. And having an educated guess of, studying music all of our lives as well as being musicians, you can kind of figure out whether it's good or not,
Well, it's a very unique style. You've been likened to Bjork and also the Sparks, which is a huge compliment for you two, isn't it? But you're also incredibly individual as well in your theatre, because you've been sort of, lots of talk about your theatre within your music and your videos and your live performances as well.
We create all of our own visual aesthetics. And I think in many ways that pushes you, because you're doing it yourself, it pushes you to another depth. When you think about when one's starting out, you've got financial restraints. So we decided to really, really go heavy in on the design. And of course, even for people who don't necessarily like music or have a lot of knowledge of music, if they're very much into a visual spectacle, if they come along to a Beau Bowen show, they will have everything. And a lot of the things that we have designed and created are a visual metaphor for the music. So if people aren't musical and they come to a show and they see the aesthetic, they go, cool, I love the aesthetic. And then somehow the music then clicks and speaks to them,
It's kind of a rounded view then that you like to give, don't you? So you've become a brand, really. Beau Bowen is your brand.
It's a brand and a band, exactly. And also we have so many different genres of music that we write. For example, I'm also a classical composer, so there's a big breadth of classical work that we also have that we will be releasing in the coming year or so. But so brand and band, it is, everything that we can possibly do and create and bring forth to the world, that's Beau Bowen.
Well, did you two meet through music? How did you two meet?
Yeah, we met through music. Beau Bowen was initially my solo project, so I was going by the name of Beau Bowen for about a year actually, and Beau Bowen was doing a gig, and Monty's brother's girlfriend showed up, and she was in the support act actually, and so that's how we got put in touch with each other.
Well, I found you, and then the feeling was very much mutual, and then everything happened, and an incredible gift, really, because it is a rarity when you meet that soulmate, and we understand one another so much in love and music. It's really quite surreal in many ways, but I knew the moment I heard him that he was my missing link. It was this familiarity that I always knew but had only just met in our life, and it was frightening and vulnerable, but by hook or by crook, and luckily he felt exactly the same way, or so you say. Is it true?
It is.
It is. It is. It's true.
It is. There you go. You see, a marriage in music and a marriage in real terms as well is quite unique. There aren't many of you duos out there. We've got Chris and Andrea Powell. They're a magic duo, and they've known each other since they were 18, and they create music, and their harmonies are just wonderful. So it's really lovely, I think, when you do get a marriage in music between two artists.
Yeah.
It's like poetry in motion, isn't it? You just blend. Do you ever argue, you two?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think you can have a good marriage if you don't have a good argument, because you have to be vulnerable, you have to know one another's sides, you have to be able to exploit all of your areas, and I think that's when it becomes, it's a reality check as well, isn't it?
Yes.
And I've often had people say, I'm sure you have as well, oh, it must be so lovely and easy for you, just doing music. And I said, gosh, you really don't have any idea. It's actually not, because you set the deadline, you set the artistic project, and you have to be very strict with yourself. And often we'll have an argument over one note, because we're both very intense people, very much perfectionists. And, I might say, no, this note is essential in this music and it's going to be done on this synthesizer. And you might go, no, I don't agree. And we'll have an argument for half an hour. And yeah, call it semantics, but it's actually incredibly important. But, it's wonderful, but music can be hard work, but we wouldn't have it any other way, would we? If you eyes on the prize, if you look at what you're wanting to achieve, the rest of the stuff, you know what I mean, the little things that just don't matter, because then you've got that end result.
I mean, as being sort of trained in music, did you find that limited you when you started to create your own brand, or did you think it gave you that confidence to go, do you know what, we're going to break the mold here and do something different?
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that. There's that old saying, you have to know the rules in order to break them. And I would say absolutely every little bit that you have learned in music, whether it be at school, university, private music lessons, it has everything to do with it. Especially, if you have natural talent, it can only expand your breadth of knowledge, and I've always, through having a whole family of musicians, my parents are actually a married couple in music. I have a very big breadth of knowledge of different types of music, and I think that that's very much stood me in good stead for the different genres of music that I write. But
I was going to ask you about your parents, because I was thinking you two must have some interesting parents.
Yeah. It is very, very interesting. But it's a crazy journey, music. It really, really is. It really, really is.
We're going to talk about a song that you did. Now, I think it was it Blue Army you did this year, or was it last year?
Well, we released it.
Yeah, it was this year in
July time, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it came out in conjunction with Ipswich going into the Premier League.
So, are you two Ipswich fans?
Of course. I hope you are too.
I know it's a silly question, but
being a fellow Suffolkite, you've got to be too, haven't you? By force?
I'm not into football. My hubby is. He's into football.
Oh, good.
We only moved to Suffolk in 2020, so he now goes to watch the Luton games. Dare I say Luton?
We've got to get him to convert. He needs to listen to Blue Army.
Well, in our local pub, we've got the Blue Army and we've got the Norwich Army. So we've got the Blues and the Yellows. Sort of, there's always this banter going on in the pub. And the Norwich ground here is just incredible. It's a wonderful ground.
It is incredible, but you know what I suggest you do? Sneak in there, get the jukebox going, and just put Blue Army on and see what
happens.
Yeah.
Well, I think at this point we should have a listen to Blue Army. So let's have a little break, but don't go away because we've got some more questions to ask them in a minute.
Come on, Ipswich! Let's go! Blue Army all the way! Direct the lights. Blue Army. Make some noise. Blue Army. Here we are. We've come a long way and we're going far. Blue Army. Direct the bus. Blue Army. Make some noise. Blue Army. Here we are. We've come a long way and we're
Now, I watched the video of Blue Army, and you really, Monty, threw yourself into that video, didn't you?
Oh yes, absolutely. And you can always surprise yourself, you know, if you do that. You have to be, like I said earlier, you have to be vulnerable and outside of your comfort zone. And we went around to many different areas in Ipswich, you know, at some moments you know, if you're standing in front of traffic, and because you were filming me and I was filming you, when we were standing in front of traffic, sometimes I went a little bit shy. But actually, funnily enough, when we then compiled the music video, the slightly more coy or shy moments didn't come across as shy. They came across as highly animated, which is what we wanted, wasn't it? And funnily enough, actually, the spirit of Suffolk around the time when we went into the Premier League was because we lived next door to a pub, and everybody was going absolutely crazy. And I feel naturally, because we were writing the music at the time, that it's very much in the fabric of the song. And wouldn't you say?
Very much.
It's very much in. And what do you want to feel? If I was a footballer, because as far as I'm concerned, football is music and vice versa. It's an incredibly emotional thing. When the crowds are cheering, it's music. And I remember throughout my life, whenever my father used to take me to a football match, my tears, I'd be welling up with emotion uncontrollably because of the way people were feeling and the love of the game. So I very much believe it's in that song. And of course, when you listen, there's historical moments throughout history that we've brought into the song, whether it be broadcasters talking.
It's a great song that I can imagine them playing in the stands.
Oh, yeah.
Or singing in the stands.
Yeah, we want to go there and bring our Spark guitar, which is another thing we want to talk to you about. But we want to go there and do it. I think it will liven everything and put the boys into absolute, you know, we're going to win this game, you know. Yeah.
And they've not done it yet. Shame on them. I think they should, because it is a kind of an anthem-y song, isn't it? That I can imagine all of the you know, the spectators singing. You know, they should be there, sort of cheering them all on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When you think about the original Blue Army chant, I think we took the very essence of that and then created proper music to it, and that was a real honour and quite an emotional song, actually.
Yeah. What were you going to tell me about the Sparks guitar?
Oh yes, I'll leave that to CJ. Come on.
Yeah, so I mean, in Beau Bowen there are many elements. It's very much a sort of synth-driven band, but the instruments that decorate the music really and provide the top lines are singing and also electric guitar. There's a lot of rock guitar solos in it, and so I thought that I would like to design a guitar that looks the way that I think the electric guitar should sound, and vice versa. So that's what Monty and I did. We came up with a design, took it to a friend who actually built an absolutely out of this world electric guitar.
Yeah, a friend of ours who's a luthier.
So anyone who's into electric guitar, I would advise to go on Beau Bowen website or social media and have a look at it. It's big. It looks like Bart Simpson. If he
I was about to say that.
An instrument.
I am part of that.
Oh, you're going to have to send me a picture of that, and we can flash that up as we're talking about it.
Oh, absolutely.
So you designed this guitar, and that's what you use when you go out and do your live sets?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love it. It's supposed to look like an electric shock, you know. So it's
it's nuclear now with it.
It's very pointy. It's very yellow. It's really big.
And speaking of, you know, the Beau Bowen colours, yellow and pink, we've also got another one, Sparkina, who is being developed at the moment. So there will be a second one. His wife, Sparky's wife. But a large piece of a large body of work that I had written for CJ with Beau Bowen in our band was an album called The Electric Eccentric, and at the time, Your Burgundy Strat, which is an incredible instrument, there were not limitations, but there were certain things that the instrument wasn't designed to do. So you were so inspired by this, and then of course you then designed everything that this guitar, the Spark, has. So it's an incredible beast. I mean, and what it can do is just incredible. And as I say, I think it's a visual metaphor for Beau Bowen's music.
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly trying to give as much as we possibly can to the audience when they come to our live shows, and the spectacle, as we were talking earlier, the rock and roll is theatre is at the heart of it, certainly.
Look at Kiss, you know.
Yes.
So I wanted to design something you could see from miles away, and I think
I bet the crowds go bonkers, don't they, when you two are on stage? Because I think you kind of whip them up into this happy kind of frenzy, don't you, the pair of you, you know, because you've got so much energy on stage and so much colour and vibrancy, and then you've got your musicality and all the lyrics as well, that people just, they listen to what you're saying as well because of the way you deliver them.
Well, yes, exactly, and diction is always really important, and a good wide mouth. Speech and drama lessons for you, you know, it has to all come out. But one of the driving forces for me, certainly, we've discussed this when we've been workshopping each other and really pushing each other to our limits, that it's not actually about the performer. The performer needs to be inspired by what they want the audience to feel. And if you haven't made the audience feel that way, you well and truly have failed. So for me, it's about, what do I want to feel as an audience member? And then it sort of is a cyclical circle of just, you can feel, you know, you can feel there's an energy, it's an emotional energy. And if you've got that there and you communicate with the audience properly, you know, it's not just parking and barking. It's, okay, there's a beautiful room of people here. I want to go out and I want to sing to each of you and actually look and engage, because the audience are part of it, you know.
How do you two manage financially, though, because your heart and soul is in this? So have you sacrificed a material world for your art?
Certainly, yeah.
And our rats.
Yeah.
And we're going to get onto those rats in a minute, because you're not going to believe what I was told earlier before we came on air.
Really?
But we'll go back to that.
Yeah, what were you were going to say something, actually?
Yes, certainly. There's so many sacrifices made for music, but it's either you're going to do it or you're not. And
if you're going to do it, seriously do it and mean it, you know, and take a chance, because actually, if you can dream it, you can do it, and not be frightened of, oh, well, what if somebody doesn't understand or appreciate? Doesn't matter, because you cannot determine one or two people or a room full of people who might not resonate with you. You can't you can't give anyone that control. If you've got that vision and you know sincerely where you know it could go and where you work for it to go,
and you're doing it regardless of the financial rewards. You're doing it because you're passionate about what you do and you love what you do. So we're going to have a little break before we come back and talk about those rats. We're going to listen to your brand new release, which is Rock and Roll Christmas, which again is going to be one of those songs that I'm sure is going to be played, and we need to get it played everywhere, all over a Christmas period, because it's a really dancey kind of happy pop rock kind of tune, isn't it, from you guys?
Yeah. Very, very animated, very, very happy, and very addictive as well.
Yes. So let's have a listen to Rock and Roll Christmas.
Come on, everyone, it's Christmas. Give us a rock and rollin' Christmas morning joy. Yeah. Give us a rock and rollin' Christmas morning joy. There's a place somewhere where you can rock and roll.
Okay, guys, you were telling me earlier that you live just down the road from me and you live in a barn, but
Yeah.
you've also lived with quite a few other family members, don't you? Tell us a little bit about these other family members.
Who's going to go first with this one?
Well, why don't you?
Why don't me? All right. Well. Okay. Well, we have 18, and that is 8 pet rats, 2 gerbils, and 1 hamster. However, why don't we just talk about the rats? Because we are very obsessed with our rats. They're very musical. They're very cultured. They have songs sung to them. That I've got my own rat language. You do too. He's got his own rat songs, and they are our family. And because we live in an old barn, which was an old dairy barn, we've decided to call the house the Old Rattery. Might seem a little bit eccentric to some, but in rat world it is normal to have a large colony because they're very social creatures and they love, they rat pile, they all pile in and they snuggle and everything, and they're very intelligent and affectionate.
How do you, presumably this is generational rat family, is it?
It's actually not.
No?
My mother, when she was little, she used to like the idea of having a band of rats, a musical band where the rats play all the instruments, but she never went as far as to actually have a rat. And there isn't anybody else in our family either side that has rats. But I don't know. Everybody has. My mother, she's a horse lady. I did have a dog growing up, but I don't know. There's something about a rat that I feel that I have a huge connection with, and you're incredibly attached to them, aren't you, as well?
I like the rats.
You love them, and you get the best of all worlds because, I'm a neat freak anyway. I love cleaning and things, but you don't have to do any cleaning out or anything, do you? You just get to have the fun bit. But I find cleaning out a bit fun as well. It's like a reset for me. Clean out all of the bedding in the cages.
Do they not fight, or are they individually in cages? No, they're not, because they cuddle.
We've got 3 cages, and the main big cage is for the kind of more gregarious boys, because they all have their own characters. But the larger cage has got 14 of them in there, and the packs that they're all in, they all get on very well with. But male rats are more docile than female, but when they get to a certain age, past the sixth month and then 8 months mark, they can get a little bit territorial, but you just watch out for it. But they're incredibly gentle.
When you say they're musical, how do you mean they're musical?
Well, they hear a lot of music because they're only in the room next door from our studio, but just the way they respond. I sing all of these kind of improvisations and things, and they respond very much to it. They skip and they dance, and you can actually train them. They're really, really intelligent, and they've got ultrasonic vocal cords, probably a bit like mine, actually.
Yeah.
I still don't know how many sounds I can make, but they have a very versatile vocal cord, and they're often making sounds that the human ear can't even hear. And they love being tickled. They laugh. They're very vocal with one another, whether it be the occasional squeak or laugh, but they do laugh.
Have you ever put a microphone near to them to record any of their sounds?
Do you know what? We haven't yet, but we will. But I have been researching. That's a good project. I have been researching, though, when scientists have actually gone in and recorded special microphones to record their sound and then slow it down so we can hear it. It's honestly fascinating. But you do get this. You do get occasional humans. There are quite a lot of us out there who really, we are rats almost. A human rat.
Well, the Chinese astrological calendar, we're all assigned an animal, aren't we?
I don't think I was born in the year of the rat, but I should have been. Maybe it's, and you weren't either, but you should have been. Maybe me more than you, I don't know. But there's an empathy that one can have with an animal. Some people it'll be cats, some dogs. I love dogs, but it's not the same. It's a funny thing, it's not the same connection. And I feel very blessed that we've found this.
I can't believe you've got 18. I can't imagine I know anybody who's got 18 rats as pets.
Yeah, it's absolute mayhem, actually. It's
a beautiful way.
Yeah.
In a hygienic way as well, because I'm a neat freak. Nothing,
they entertain each other and they get very excited. So
it's really fun. Honestly, it's really funny.
So when they know a bit of food's coming, it's a bit like a rugby scrum. They go absolutely mad.
They go mad like a puppy as well. They can wag their tail. They jump around and lick you like a puppy. And I've got to tell you this one anecdotal thing because it's really funny. The other day we just popped to the pet shop. And not our usual pet shop, but we popped to the pet shop and got a large wheel. We thought, okay, in the large cage, let's put it in and see what happens. They love it. They haven't quite discovered, that they can run inside, but you can see the cogs turning quite literally because one of our boys, Dusty, who's a husky rat, he went on the outside and thought, oh, this is a wheel, this moves. And he started moving one hand and actually feeding it through and moving it like this, and then got the other hand and started doing this, which was fascinating, honestly, like a human. And then our other boy, Friday 13, which you can probably see that was our 13th rat, he then stood at the other side and actually just went like this and started moving it on the outside. And I said, yes, boys, why don't you go in?
Yeah.
So it's really sweet just watching them have this fascination with this thing.
Can be, honestly. Well, I think at this point we ought to have another little break and listen to a song. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time with you two.
Yeah.
In fact, I've just had a little message saying we've got 10 minutes left. So we are going to have to come back in and finish this.
Yeah, totally.
Let's have another song. Sexy Eyes. What was this song inspired by?
Well, it's a little segment of our concept album called A Thrilling Romance, which is coming out in, we think, April of 2025. So it's really at the point at which the two main characters just lock eyes across this dance floor in a sort of somewhat futuristic dystopian world, and I guess it's just the beginning of their romance and their time together.
You know that excitement when you first lock eyes with one another, a bit like you and I, my darling.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say, did that happen to you too?
And a bit spooky as well, in a fun way. It's there's a mysterious element to the song. If you then go in, well, you'll hear in a minute, but the middle section of the song, it's got some mysteries to it.
Well, let's have a listen to Sexy Eyes.
Look into my eyes, my sexy eyes. Sex has no disguise. Sexy eyes. This isn't true. I mean what I say when I say, yeah. I'm yours tonight. Sexy eyes. That's a surefire way to freak out the locals.
So, CJ, you spoke a minute ago about the new album that's coming out next year. Now, there's no less than 18 tracks on this album. So, is this a collection of all your work so far?
No, it's a concept album, so it tells a story of a thrilling romance. So just a sort of a very brief, quick, fleeting romance.
They've got it up forever. Quick.
Well, wait for the sequel.
Yeah, wait for the sequel.
Wait for the sequel.
It's one of so many albums that we've got yet to be released. So just watch this space, everyone, because it's going to be full on.
We had a story, and we wrote a piece of music for every segment of the story, and 18 was the magic number. I suppose.
Just like
this isn't a story about you two, then.
It's sort of semi-biographical.
Well, in terms of meeting one another and instantaneous love, yes, but in terms of actual details, no. We sort of went a bit more abstract with that story. In terms of, we didn't meet in a club.
No,
we haven't actually ever gone clubbing together. We've been too busy in the studio arguing about notes.
I can imagine. I mean, you two seem to work relentlessly. Do you have backup jobs at all to fund your music, or are you totally reliant on your music?
We're totally 100% music.
100% music.
Gosh.
And we have every faith that the work will pay off.
It's a huge faith, isn't it? And to get yourselves heard above all of the noise that's out there today, but I think you're diligently plugging away with your brand, and every time you go out, it's an opportunity to reach new ears, isn't it?
Yeah.
So hopefully, but it's a huge commitment from both of you and a lot of hard work. Nobody ever understands when you do things for yourselves. All of the PR stuff and everything that you do, yes, okay, you've got a PR company that work for you, but you've still got to create that content for them to be able to work with.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, I tell you this, it goes beyond the self, because if you have an ability in something, you have a duty to see it through, but also for the greater good. When you think about music as a whole, music is our life, we love it, we care about it, but we also, there's so much with new genres of music that we want to push, and I see it as our duty to do it for the greater good of music, so not just only us.
Well, I think it was nice to meet each other and have a team in it, and actually, because we have such a sort of admiration for the other's musicality, I think we now see it as double the duty to
for each other,
not just for oneself but for the other.
Yeah, and there's a reflection in each other, so there'll be things that CJ says, I really want you to do this, I really see you doing this, and when you dance I see this, and so he's coaxed me into my personality and vice versa, with everything, and it's a real gift.
It is a gift, because I can't think, I know I mentioned Chris and Andrea earlier, but when you're together as a couple and you're living and breathing this kind of brand that you've got, and you're helping each other to develop, it's a gift of love between the two of you as well, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. It really is, and actually to be tested in your love is important. I find it can be challenging in terms of, even if one is tired and you still keep going, the relentless support you give one another. But we definitely know that we love each other from what we've been through in music and everything we're pushing. No matter how irritated you can get with one another, there's just this unconditional, undying trust and love and faith in one another. We wouldn't want to work with anyone else in terms of, we have such a setup with one another, and the trust we have with each other's musical opinions, in what we do. It's just, we are as one.
Yes.
That's the way to describe it.
Well, we're going to listen to another song before we do run out of time. This is Let's Make Love Again. So go on, tell us very quickly before we listen to this, what was the inspiration behind this? Is this again part of this romance album?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sort of comes to it's at the back end of the album. We had the title, and Monty wrote some terrific chords, and I think it's actually my favourite song that Beau Bowen has released.
You've said that about every song, mind you. That's
Yeah.
probably a good thing, isn't it? You've got to have everything. You've got to be obsessed with everything. But
You've got to love everything. But I was
Yeah,
going to
and
ask
I
you your
think-
favourite one.
yeah, and the challenge, well, not challenge, but well, yes, challenge, but to get that desperation of, again, you know, the longing for one another, the addiction of love, to get that through metaphorically in the music was exactly where we got to, you know. And when you unite the subject matter with what's actually going on in the music, with the feeling, if you forget lyrics for a minute and you hear just the music, you get that feeling, you know, this addiction, this obsession with another.
That isn't easy to do, is it, to make the musicality speak to you?
Nope.
But then when you embellish it with the lyrics, the whole marriage comes together.
Oh yeah.
But you could listen to one or the other, but still get the essence of the song.
Exactly, and that's always something that is the main goal. You know, speaking as somebody who, a bit like Prince really, because I remember seeing him in an interview saying, oh, I never think of the lyrics, it's always the music. Sometimes I am a little bit guilty of that, with just music, and then, oh, okay, let's be extra disciplined and now think about some lyrics. But in many ways, I mean, it all happens, each song will come to fruition in a different way.
Yeah, and it's a good partnership that we have, because I'm coming at it from a different angle to Monty, so we really sort of, you know,
We complement.
Exactly.
It is literally one, you know.
Yeah,
You cannot have one without the other.
No. Well, let's have a listen.
yeah.
Let's have a listen, and we'll come back in and ask you some more questions in a moment, guys.
Let's make love again.
gosh, I can't believe where the time is going with you two. I could speak to you all day. But
Yes.
I want to go back to you, Monty. So Montgomery, that's a very unusual name for a girl to have. What, your parents must be really... I'd love to meet your parents because I think they must be very interesting.
Well, my mother is Welsh, and she comes from an area in Powys called, Montgomeryshire. And so the place is very much dear to her heart. She came away to London to study in music college. And I think and that's where she met my father, at the Royal College of Music. But they decided to call their firstborn Montgomery. And my maiden name is Sadler. Montgomery actually means man at the foot of the mountain. And I think they found the name handsome. They found the name handsome, so they thought, oh, yes. And it just so happens that their daughter, it matched the personality. But the irony that years later, my husband's surname is Everest, Mount Everest. So you've kind of got a double whammy of two mountains. It's just funny. So everybody in the family just calls me Mont Everest. Not Mount, but Mont Everest.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my name, really. It should just be Mont-Everest, really.
And your
I think that's my
personality.
ex formerly known as Twitter account name. I thought, right, well, I'm going to do that. I'll call it that.
Well, I mean, at school, you must have been the only one. And I guess a lot of... Because kids can be very inquisitive, can't they? And
cruel.
you must have been the only Montgomery in school, which must have stood you out a little bit.
Well, unknowingly so, yes. But I remember being upset because people would sometimes say, oh, I've never heard of that name before. You know, when I was about 4 or 5, and my dad came to pick me up from school one day, and he sat me down in the car because I was upset. He said, now, I promise you, when you're grown up, you will love your name. And I think he was right, probably. He was definitely right. I do like my name. I do.
So it's a kind of mountainous marriage between you two, isn't it? Because, you know, the synchronicity of Montgomery, you know, marrying an Everest. And then not only did you marry each other, but you've got this synchronicity with your music. It's so unique.
It really is.
It's staggering, really, how the universe brought you two together.
I know. It was all the music from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Somewhere in the stratosphere, you know.
So what is in store next for Beau Bowen? What has 2025 got for you? We talked earlier about the album. Where are you performing? So if people wanted to go and see you or find out more about your music, where would they go?
Well, if you head to beaubowen.com or any of our social media sites, we're going to be announcing our April tour very, 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 very soon. And actually, if you're based not far from Norwich, we're playing at the Norwich Waterfront
Excellent.
Studios. So, yeah, absolutely.
Come along.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring your other half.
I will. We would love to. And I love the waterfront as well. I love Norwich. I love the city of Norwich. It's just a beautiful town. And you've got the river running through. And we bought a boat this year, a second one. So our plan is to actually go into Norwich and stay on the boat. So that would be perfect.
Excellent.
We could time it
Excellent.
exactly at the weekend of what This is very exciting.
Do keep me posted about that.
Absolutely.
Will do.
And so the website is basically where everybody can find out about obviously they can listen to you on Spotify and the other download platforms and what have you.
And YouTube for the music videos.
Exactly, yeah. And Beau Bowen is spelled Beaubowen.
Well, we're going to listen to another song from you guys. This is Dreams With You. So whereabouts is this on the album?
It's right at the midway point. So I think it may be the track that starts the second half, the second disc of vinyl that we'll be doing at some point. So.
Where fate has been sealed.
Yes,
fate is sealed. Forever.
Forever. Let's have a listen to Dreams With You by Beau Bowen.
Deeper and deeper into a dream, into a dream. With you I go. Deeper and deeper into a dream, into a dream. With you I go. My dreams with you. My dreams with you. My dreams with you.
You were talking, CJ, about vinyl. That's kind of coming back in vogue again now, isn't it? So will it be a pink vinyl?
Potentially, yeah. Obviously, you can do all those sort of those cool splatters and colours.
Well, potentially it would, but the album itself, the artwork, there's a lot of colour, lots of Beau Bowen colour, very dystopian, like a comic book, really.
Well, funnily enough, I had a Woody Woodpecker from my childhood. I think they don't call them. I can't remember what they used to call them. But it's a '78, and it was. They used to get a subscription of these, and that is multicoloured. It's got all the colours of the rainbow all over this little sort of 78 now, and it's such a work of art. You know, you don't see that anymore. So maybe you guys could do something like that with yours.
Definitely.
All the colours in. So running up to Christmas, are you busy with gigs?
Well, we've just finished the end of our autumnal winter tour, actually, and now we're back in the studio. We're also shooting music videos, preparing for all of the other single releases that we have, as well as A Thrilling Romance, the album which is coming out in April. But we've got copious amounts of other records that we're also working on simultaneously, so it never ever stops. And sometimes in between tours, it's nice to then go back in to the studio world to continue writing, recording, producing the definitive versions of the songs, ready for live shows.
Yeah. So CJ, from your family's point of view, do you come from a musical family as well?
Not particularly. I mean, some of my ancestry is musical.
Augustine.
Yeah, but no, I think just enjoying rock music as a kid, sort of Led Zeppelins and all that sort of stuff.
And the fact that you had a sublime talent on the guitar just happened to be amazing, that he appreciated all of this music and yet he picked it up and went, oh, I can do that. You know, it's fantastic. You were certainly my missing link, because coming from a family of guitarists myself, I was always searching and of course listening to all of the great guitarists, but yet somehow still not meeting the sound that I had in my head, you know, that ultimate guitar sound. And as soon as I heard you, I was absolutely flabbergasted that this creature existed. Creature of the deep.
I don't know whether you two are planning to have any children, but it'd be interesting to A, figure out what you're going to call them, and B, how they're going to follow in your footsteps, because I think you'd give them complete liberty to just create and just enjoy what they're creating.
Oh, absolutely, because, you know, all great things should be vocational no matter what you're doing, and I think there is such great education in that and grounding, but they'll definitely be brought up lovers of rats.
Well, they may have a new interesting pet for you that you haven't thought about yet.
They might do.
Can't say no, can you?
Not a tarantula. I can't do spiders. I'm sorry. I can't.
Well, Monty, you know, it's been great to talk to both of you. You know.
Yeah, you too.
CJ, what is your? I know you're known as CJ, but is it Chris something? No.
Yeah, Christopher James.
Christopher James, fine. I felt a bit sort of guilty saying CJ. So Monty and Chris, CJ.
Yeah, Chris. When he's naughty, it's Chris.
He is Chris.
Chris.
Or Christopher.
And when I'm naughty, it's Montgomery. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Very welcome, both.
Bless you and a Merry Christmas.
And you, and a Happy New Year, and good luck with the album.
I can't wait. Lots of love.
Cheers.
And you
Bye.
too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.